Brains stay pouring all over the court. Check, trade scoring, a rational activist. Others remain dormant, factual passages. Able to wage war when time call for it. Burn fire upon corporate setting his back. Sun is fall forward. See the big picture. Don't get stuck on small portraits. Tap resources, just three inner forces. Mind, body, and soul working like piano chords. Linking the piece together from the root like Neanderthals. Preserving animalistic behavior when I convert into the cross satanic spiritual savior. Words that I use are the truth if I never gave ya anything else in your life. Remember words that I breathe on this mic. I print people a copy to read what I write. Tell it fast like Mach speed on a bike. Like a native chief, I speak and bring peace with a pipe. Subtle as a thief in the night with beats in the light. Check the blacking out like Slobodan Milosevic. Hold that, take some with you. Eternal pain when New Jerusalem hit you. Fall back, don't press the issue with script, lock, script check, Bethlehem officials.
What is up, people? What's going on? Welcome to the first episode of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Lived. Got a special guest in the house, first time on the channel. Tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Can't find me anywhere but here. Just kind of jumping in and hoping that we can have some chemistry and maybe do this again next week for the next one.
Absolutely. And so for those of you that don't know, we are talking Walking Dead. And if you know, I have always been a big Walking Dead fan. A lot of people fell off from the show, but I never did. I watched it straight through. We got Fear the Walking Dead, which I really enjoyed as well. The Walking Dead Beyond, which was meh. But I also liked Daryl and Dead City. So those were the Walking Dead shows that I really enjoyed, but now we got the big one. This is the one we've all been waiting for, to find out what happened to Rick and what happens to him and Michonne. So I think that's interesting. What about you? How long have you been a fan of Walking Dead, Jared?
Been a Walking Dead fan for I watched season 1. I binged it, and I've been watching Walking Dead like on an episode by episode basis ever since then. So from season 2 onward.
Were you one of the ones that fell off, or you just kept watching it like I did?
Oh, I kept watching it.
Yeah, me too. I can understand where a lot of people fell off, and they said, you see, here's the thing. A lot of people were saying, like, you know, the stories were bad, and it wasn't bad. What they were doing with the episodes were kind of bad. Because, so for example, there was one episode where Glenn was under a banister, looked like he got bit, and everybody thought he got bit and everything. Yeah. And then it took like a month for you to figure out what happened, because they went to all these other storylines, and they did that a lot in the later season. So I think that was one of the biggest complaints, but the stories were still good, man. I really enjoyed the Negan storyline. I enjoyed a lot of it. What about you?
I liked the Negan storyline. I think that they maybe drug it out a little bit longer than they needed to. But I love the Negan storyline. I love the Negan episode that we got on the COVID episode, where we got his backstory, where he was with his wife. So I love the Negan storyline.
That was actually a great episode. The one where you got the backstory to him and how he became who he was. I thought that was really good. And I remember I had a few friends that were like, oh, I'm done with Walking. I said, just watch this episode. And everybody that I told to watch it was like, yeah, that really was a good one, right? So even Low Key, who was supposed to come on and do this with us, maybe I guess he'll be on for the next one, but he had fell off of The Walking Dead. And then I told him to watch Dead City, and he really enjoyed it. So now he's watching.
Dead City was good shit.
Really good, because you got old Negan in that in certain spots. You could see the old Negan come in. You know what I mean? Like when he took that dude, cut his open, and then peeled his guts out everywhere. Yeah, that was good. Go ahead.
Nah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that you got to see Negan in that, and it was true to Negan who he is. But another couple other interesting stories. I've met some of the actors from Walking Dead.
Oh, really? Who'd you meet?
During Comic-Con. I got to meet King Ezekiel. And last year I got to meet Jerry, which is his like squire that,
Yeah, Jerry.
And so I was in Jerry's line last year to meet him, and King Ezekiel was right next to him, and
Nice.
he was taking a selfie with a family, like with a dad and his kids, and somebody was calling the phone while King Ezekiel was taking the picture, and the king answered the phone. He's like, we are in the middle of taking a picture right now. You need to call back later."
Yeah,
So
nice.
it's just cool to meet those people.
Absolutely. Right. Haven't met any of them yet, but if they ever came to Comic-Con and I went, I'd probably, stand in their lines to see,
Oh, for sure.
But we are definitely here to talk about episode 1 of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Lived. And just a little recap for those of you who have fallen off of The Walking Dead and thought Rick was dead. He wasn't dead. The last episode Rick was in, he pretty much brought a horde that was about to invade the city. He took them all the way to a bridge, which they were building to connect each town, like Hilltop and Alexandra and all of them, easy route. And as he was doing it, he fell off his horse. A spike went through him. He got up, he started walking, and then he had to blow up the bridge. And everybody thought, oh no, Rick is dead. Rick is dead, but he wasn't dead. They ended up taking him. And you never really got any information as to where they took him until a couple of episodes where Michonne said she's going to go out and look for him because she knows he's alive. And then she got some hints to him being alive. And then we get to where we are today, which is The Ones That Live. So I'm just going to read the quick synopsis for the episode. It's 5 years after being taken by the CRM. Rick Grimes has tried unsuccessfully 4 times to escape, including sending a message in a bottle to Michonne along with his belongings on one occasion and chopping off his own hand off on another. Rick is assigned as a consignee, someone who spent 6 years doing work on the outskirts of Philadelphia, now the Civic Republic, before being allowed into the city. Rick dreams of a regular life with Michonne and eventually accepts an offer from Lieutenant Colonel Donald Okafor to join the CRM. Okafor reveals that he had helped the CRM when then the Pennsylvania National Guard, saved the city from being napalmed at the cost of his own wife, and he attempts to recruit Rick and Pearl Thorne into his plan to change the CRM from the inside. After another failed escape attempt and the destruction of Omaha, Rick finally accepts his new life and a position as the commander of the CRM forward operating bases. Recalling a story from his childhood, Rick agrees to join Okafor's plan just before their helicopter is shot down, killing Okafor and his men. The attacker proves to be Michonne, who is reunited for Rick for the first time in years. So let me ask you first, what are your overall thoughts of this episode?
Overall thoughts, it was a good episode. It was a solid seeing Rick back and seeing Rick, he was still fighting for what he loved. He was still fighting for what he believed in. So I loved that. And then seeing that he went to the lengths that he went to, cut off his own arm in order to try to get back to them. That's the Rick I know. So I was happy with that.
Absolutely.
And then not sure. I think I've heard you say before that you are a fan of Lost. So to see Terry O'Quinn be
John Locke.
Yeah. Love seeing John Locke. Anytime you get to see John Locke, it's a good time.
Me too.
Those are my positives.
For me overall, like I said, I thought it was a great episode. I really enjoyed, like you said, the fact that all this time Rick, it's like a one-track mind. The only thing he wants to do is get back to Michonne and Judith, right? And even when he accepts staying with them, like I said in the synopsis, like he accepts to stay with them, he's still devising a plan to try and get
Mm-hmm.
away, right? And I thought that was really good. And I also thought that this episode was a good first start, right? Because what it did is and just in one episode, it explained Rick's story, where he was, what happened to him, you know what I mean, how he's been trying to get away. You also understand that now the world is a lot bigger than we thought it was, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia has their compound, there was Omaha, and then there was another compound too of humans that were doing kind of the same thing, right? So I enjoyed that, and I'm like, okay, I could see where this is going, and it's kind of like I could see somewhere if it continues. I doubt it will, but if it does continue, I could see somewhere where they kind of bring, you know, Dead City and Daryl Dixon and this show all together for like one big maybe TV movie or movie. That would be interesting for them to do, man. I would definitely enjoy that.
I mean,
Get
and
them. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if they could do that, that'd be awesome because
Mhm.
even in Daryl Dixon, where he's on his own, he he's still looking for Rick.
Yeah,
So if they could do that, that would be awesome.
absolutely. Because even I don't know, you watch Fear of the Walking Dead too?
I'm not all the way current on it. I've watched
Okay.
it, but I'm not all the way up.
Okay, so one episode in the last season, I think it was midway through the season, where Morgan leaves the show, him and his daughter are going off to look for Rick. So it seemed like every show that was ending and starting was with them looking for Rick. So to me, it seems like they may have a plan to bring them all together for one final hurrah. And I think that would be a good, like, yeah, you could do it like a mini series or even a movie. I think that would be good if they did that. So now let's talk about the positives. What did you like about this episode? Like, what were the things that stood out to you?
Oh, what did I like? Oh, I liked it all. But I guess just seeing Rick again and like not he wasn't beaten down. He was like still dedicated to what he was
Hmm.
doing and like I don't care how long you hold me here. I'm still going to go find my family. Um
Absolutely.
so I feel like Rick stayed true to his character. So I really liked that. Um that's probably my biggest like. Um,
And just to add to that, because you are correct, right? Because remember when we had the season with Negan, like Negan pretty much broke Rick, right? And
oh
you
yeah.
would think they usually do this thing in these shows and movies where, it's further down in the future and the main character is broken and upset like they did with Obi-Wan and that crap. You know what I mean? But the fact
Hmm.
that they didn't do that in this, what up, LDG? I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the fact that they didn't like have him being beaten, and maybe catching a sign on Michonne's life, and then he perks up. It's like, no, he was trying to get away from her, trying to get away from the CRM ever since they caught him. So I like that.
Hmm. Yeah. Other things I liked. I'm obviously going to like John Locke. But I liked the dream sequences that Rick had with
Hmm.
Michonne, where they met on the bench, and to me that was Rick thinking like I still
They
love this person. I still
right.
I want to be with this person.
Hmm.
Uh, so I think it was a great episode.
I agree with you 100%. And that scene too. At first, I was like, "Oh, the dream sequences kind of," but then as I watched it again, I understood. It's like to say, like, no matter what world they're in, they would have met and they would have fallen
Hmm.
in love. You know what I mean? So I kind of like that they did that as well. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? It shows that they're soulmates, and it shows that this is why Rick needs so hard to get back to Michonne, right? He's like, this is my wife, this is my soulmate, you know. And he's like, he don't even know, it's been 6 years. He don't even know if she's dead. All he knows is that he has to find her. You know what I mean?
Well,
So I like that.
there's even that scene. There's a scene in the episode where he's talking to one of the military officers, and she's like, well, they're gone. And he's like, she's not gone. Like, she's not dead. And so, like, he's not giving up hope at all.
Absolutely. And I really enjoy that. And that girl, what did you like? What did you think of her character? Because I thought she was pretty badass, to be honest with you.
Like the familiar officer person.
Yeah, the female one.
I liked her character. I did. She was the one that they said that gave the
Okafor,
Okafor gave him his scar on his head.
Yeah.
And I think that she is a good foil for Rick. I think that I think that she could be a good character.
Absolutely. I think she was a good character. Her name in the show is Pearl Thorne, played by Leslie Ann Brandt, right? And I think she's a good character because I like the fact that she was trying to escape too, right? She was like, she threw the glass at him and she's like, I shouldn't be throwing the glass at you. I should be thanking you. And Rick's like, why? And she's like, because you show me that there's no escape from here. Right. And that, I think, is when she decided that she was going to be, committed to being in the CRM in this situation. Right. And the fact that Okafor, who pretty much recruited them. So just a little context there, they find somebody, there's A's and there B's. The B's are the ones that get to work, and then after a couple of years, they get to go into the city. They kill the A's because the A's are strong-minded, strong-willed, and they don't want to have any problems, right? So they kill the A's. But because Okafor stood up for Julie and Rick, they didn't kill them. The reason why he did that is because he had a plan to actually have them infiltrate the CRM at like higher levels. I don't know what levels, maybe like some sort of Congress or generals in the army, so that they could make changes. And he knows by their characters that they will make the changes to make the CRM better. So I did like that. And I like the contrast that Rick is still trying to get away, but she's committed, right? So I really enjoyed that. There was also the other scene. There's one scene where, and this is spoilers for any of you who haven't watched it yet, go back and watch it if you haven't. But Rick tries to get away. And I'm like, oh, this plan that Rick has to get away is good, right? He takes a zombie, he's going to burn it, he puts his dog tags on it. And just as he's about to get into the sewer, a little girl comes up. And I don't know, I caught myself saying, fuck the girl, bro, get out of there. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck her, like, just go. But of course, Rick can't do that. So he ends up kind of halting his mission. And then Julie comes in and saves him from the zombies. And even then, Rick is like, if you want to help me, let me go. And she's like, no, I did help you. I could have killed you and I didn't do it, right? So she has something for Rick. I think she understands what they're trying to do, and she's for it. And I think she's trying to get Rick on board. But again, Rick is strictly trying to get to Michonne.
Now, the thing about that scene that gets me is that he wants to get home so badly, which we know, but that girl needed help. And what does Rick do? He helps people. So like it just hit home, like he is who he is,
It shows his character, right? Because even though he's trying to get, he's not selfish, right? He understands,
Hmm.
and that I think that's what Okafor sees in him, right? Is that like they're not these selfish kind of dudes that are going to go in there and only work for themselves, you know? And I think that's why Okafor wanted to recruit them. And it shows in the episode that yeah, he made the right choice. He even says it towards the end. He's like, I made the right choice. Um, so I'm like you. I also really enjoyed seeing John Locke in there. The minute he showed up, I was like, "Ah, shit, John Locke's in this, wicked!" Right? I
Yeah,
wish
he
he would
is.
have done more in the episode, but I have a feeling he's gonna do more in the
Oh, he will.
next couple episodes. You know,
You
and
don't have somebody like John Locke in the cast and not have him do more. He's going to do more.
absolutely, and the fact that even with the little bit that he did, they kind of showed what kind of character is it. He's not dumb, right? Because he asked Rick, he's
Hmm.
like, is there something I should know about Okafor? You know what I mean? Is he planning
Hmm.
something?
He's
And
like,
Rick's like,
look
no.
me in my
Yeah.
eyes. Look me in my eyes.
Yes, yes. And I like that because he didn't want an answer. He's the type I can tell by your eyes whether you're lying or not. And I think
Hmm.
that's going to come into play somewhere in one of these future episodes. Um, I'm still not sure if he's a good guy or a bad guy, but it's John Locke. He's got to be a bad guy. You know what I mean? I
He's
think
going to
he,
be a bad guy.
yeah, I think he did. Like, I loved Lost, and I loved, what he was doing when he was trying to get off the island or trying to find out the
Hmm.
secrets of the island. But then when he died and it ended up being the smoke monster, he just had this little, like, he was a bad guy, and it just had this little way about him that I said he plays a really good bad guy. So I think he can really do a good job in this episode, in this
I'd,
season.
I'd say, Anzo, we could have like a 5-hour conversation over loss.
Oh, absolutely.
If you want to do that, um,
Absolutely.
but yeah.
You liked Lost, right? You liked it?
Oh, I'm a Lost fan.
So let me ask you, are you watching From?
Watching what?
From.
Uh-uh.
Bro, take my advice, watch From. All right?
Okay.
From is it has so many similarities to Lost. It has me thinking it's in the same universe. I'm
All
like,
right.
this has to be connected to Lost. It's not because Michael's in it, right? And Michael's playing a different character than he did in Lost. But just to me, with the similarities from Lost, I'm like, man, yo, this show is really good. Season 3 is going to be start. Well, I think they're filming season 3 now, so it hasn't come up. But the first 2 seasons, from the first episode, you're gonna be like, this reminds me of Lost.
Well,
Yeah.
if it's Lost related or if it's close, I'm there.
It's really close. Someone told me about it. They told me to watch it. Perp minded. Shout outs to Perp. He told me to watch it. He's like, yo, you watching From? And he was posting on Twitter all the time. From. I'm like, what is this From crap? So I watched it and I was like, yo, because just an example of how it's like Lost, right? So they're stuck in this town. They can't get out of the town. They go into the town, they see a tree, and then at the beginning they're just driving, and every time they're driving, they're just passing the same tree, the same tree, the same tree. So now they're kind of like stuck in this town, and they're trying to figure out ways to get back home. And I don't want to spoil it for you. Just watch it. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy
I'll check it out.
it. Were there any bad stuff that you liked about this episode? Was there anything bad that you didn't
Any
like?
negatives?
Yeah.
If I had to go negative, the only thing I would say is that um, I want to see Rick and Michonne together.
Me too.
And we don't get that until the very end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, me just thinking about it as like a show telling point, Michonne is probably going to have a flashback episode in this upcoming episode. So we're not going to get to see Rick and Michonne together for at least 2 weeks.
Exactly.
But other than that, that would be my biggest negative.
You know what? And I can understand where you're coming from. Me personally, I do want to see them together, but I think the fact that we got to see, because usually some of these shows they wait till like the third or fourth episode and then they actually meet, right? At least we got them to meet at the first of the episode so that we're going to get the flashback Michonne, and then the week later they're going to be together, right? So I can understand the wait, why that's an issue. I
Mhm.
can, but I'm just glad that they didn't drag out their meeting. You know what I mean? Where the next episode Rick is trying to get away and he's fighting, and then they finally meet, because they do that a lot, especially the Disney stuff, where it's only like the last couple of episodes where whatever you're waiting for finally
Mhm.
happens. And I like the fact that they actually didn't do that in this one. But I do understand your point where it's like we got to wait another episode to see them together. So I can understand that.
But
I don't.
I cannot wait to see Michonne again though. Like
Yeah, me too.
even if it's not with Rick, I cannot
Hmm.
wait to see Michonne again. Um, the only complaint that I would have about this show, if they do not meet up with Judith in some point, or
Hmm.
if he does not get to see Judith again, I'm done.
I agree with you. And but what I you see, here's the thing. It's only 6 episodes, right? So let's
Hmm.
say the ratings are good or whatever. Maybe they end it where they're trying to get back to Judith so that we know that there's going to be another season, right? I would really like it to be more than one, but with Lincoln talking about he's doesn't like to travel time and stuff, he may not be interested in doing another season or whatever, so they may end it after the season. But hey, if you can get me even 3 seasons out of this, I'll be fine with that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'll be definitely fine with that. But I agree with you. um One of the things that I think was a little bit disappointing for me, and I understand that he's probably going to have a bigger role in the future, is the John Locke. He didn't really do much in there. They show
Yeah.
one glimpse and he had a conversation, and that was it, right?
Hmm.
So there's going to be a build up to that. I can completely understand that. But now you got to ask yourself this too, right? He's probably not going to be in episode 2, right? Because that's going to be Michonne's story,
Uh-huh.
and which is good because I want to see what happened to her after she left. We got a little glimpse of it where she met that black guy and she found, you know, information that Rick was alive. But from then, we don't have no idea what she's been up through. So that's going to be interesting. My question would be, they probably could have mixed mixed the first 2 episodes into one. I guess maybe made it an hour and a half or something like that.
Hmm.
And you spend, 45 minutes on Rick, 45 minutes on Michonne. I think you could have did that in the first episode. But it's a 6 episode series, so I understand what they're trying to do. So, but I'm with you. I think we could have. Well, I got to see the second episode first. I just think
Uh-huh.
there are things in this episode that Oh, and the one thing I wasn't really, when Rick was about to kill himself. Well,
Oh, we
I
got to
don't
talk
think.
about that too.
Yeah, I'm not sure he was gonna do it, but he had that thought in his mind. What are your thoughts about that scene?
Um, my thoughts about that scene, because they showed it 2 different times.
Yeah.
They showed it at the beginning and then they showed it at the end.
Hmm.
And my thoughts about that are, um, he genuinely like thought, I can't, I'm never going to be with the people I love again.
Hmm.
This is my way out, because whether or not I stay alive or not, I'm not going to see them. And so like I thought it was pretty deep, like that they went there, that they went that route. um do I think that Rick would have done that as a character? I don't really think that he would have. um but I see where the show was going with it.
Yeah, me too. I think they wanted to make him more human, give him a moment of I'm never gonna get out of here. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think they tried to show that part. I mean, it was short lived, right? He did it, cut a little cut, and then realized like, what the fuck am I doing? You know.
Hmm.
But the one thing that I really enjoyed was before, and I didn't really talk about this, but before he was trying to joined the CRM or was talking about, he said he's not going to do it. And the guy he was talking to, the Spanish guy, I can't remember his name, right?
Esteban.
And yeah, that's it, Esteban. And Esteban's telling him, "Oh man, the things you would probably learn if, or you know what I mean." And then it was like a light bulb in Rick's head, where it's like, "Oh, that's a good idea," you know. So he was the one that actually gave Rick the idea to join, and by to make it easier for him to escape. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoy the new characters in the show. I think they're all pretty good. Um, Unfortunately, Okafor dies at the end,
Mm-hmm.
and I really enjoyed the scene where Rick went to his room, right? And Rick was like, put the knife at him and was talking to him, you know, and he's being calm. He's like, listen, blah, blah, blah. And then Rick tells him that he's a good soldier that has nothing to live for. And he kicks Rick in the leg, gets up and puts him down. And then that little where he's like, I lost everything. And he had to kill his wife. I said, yeah, okay, that was really good. And I was hoping to see more of that character, but unfortunately, he dies at the end. So I think that would be pretty much a negative that I have, is that he died. But maybe we'll get more of him in flashbacks. Who knows? Because Walking Dead likes to do these flashbacks, but I doubt it because it's only 6 episodes, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they gotta keep it moving, and that's one of the things that I liked with even Daryl Dixon, is that the episodes, they kept moving, right? There wasn't no little lag or elapsed time or where say, I think there was one episode in Dead City where it could have been like a filler episode. But other than that, I like the fact that the episodes keep moving and they're progressing. So I don't see them really doing any flashbacks, but this is definitely a top tier show. What are your grades for this episode?
I would put it at probably an A minus.
Mm-hmm.
A minus. Um, it's hard. Um, it's hard without Judith. I like. It's just if they don't reunite with Judith, I just this show doesn't matter. But seeing Michonne and Rick reunite, um, knowing what's on the horizon, like it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say an A minus.
All right. Not bad. I personally, you see, and it's hard to say like, oh, I'm gonna give it an A plus, right? But then where do you go from there? Like every episode is like it. So I'm gonna be like you. I'm gonna give it an A minus. I'll give it an A minus too, right? Because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be episodes that I think are better than this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's gonna be at least 2 episodes in this series that are gonna blow my mind to where like, oh my god, this is like one of the best episodes I ever seen in The Walking Dead. I really feel like that. So it's hard to say, oh, I'm gonna give this an A plus, and then every other episode that's good, I'm giving an A plus too. So I'll be like you. I'll give it an A minus, and then I'll work from there because I don't want to start too high and then have nowhere to go if there's a better episode. So I'm gonna give it an A minus. I do think it's a great start to the series. I can't wait to see further episodes. What's up, Cole? How you doing? I can't wait to see further episodes of this show. And yeah, is there anything else you want to say about it?
Not about this show necessarily, but like, what were your thoughts about Dead City? What'd you like about it? What'd you not like about it?
All right. Hold on. First, let me say, Cole said I liked the performance in this. Holy, wait, hold on. Hold on. Wait, Cole, you actually like the Walking Dead show? Wow. I am shocked. Like shocked. First off, you saying you like anything, well, other than the B42, whatever the whole those movies are, other than those movies. But the fact that you like the performance, and that's okay, that's good. So Dead City, I did a review of each episode on my
Mm-hmm.
channel. I thought each episode was really good. Right, I love the dynamic between Negan and Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that I really didn't like was Maggie's son. I think his attitude is attitude was kind of messed up. I guess I can kind of understand where it's coming from, but at the same time, it just didn't do it for me. But other than that, I loved the bad guy in it too. Um, and the fact that they
Oh my
didn't
god,
really want to. Yeah, go ahead.
the villain was so good.
Hmm.
Uh,
Like
the guy that
the
was
guy,
like Negan's
right hand
underling.
man. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he was really good. And then the fact that they didn't want to kill Negan, but they actually wanted, for Negan to join the crew and do what he was
Mhm.
doing when he had the sanctuary. And I'm just like, that's not Negan anymore. But what I did like is this show showed that he still has it in him. Because he grabbed that dude and
He
broke his
did.
head in every single glass and then cut him open and let his guts spill out on the people down below. I was like, oh, that's classic Negan. And then when the black guy
I love
questioned
that
him,
scene.
me too. And then when the black guy questioned him, he's like, oh, I don't trust you. Negan's like, you don't want to do this. And then he had to. That's why you would like it, Cole, because Negan kills the black guy, right? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. What about you?
um, I like Dead City more than I like the Daryl show for sure.
As did I, yeah.
Um, just but the aspect of another season of Dead City that's good to me. Um, the Daryl season is supposed to be with Carol involved, so I like that too because Carol's one of my favorite characters. But
Me too.
I always love Carol.
Carol was one of those characters at first that I didn't care for, you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
one thing I loved about her is her progression throughout the series, right?
Well,
Because she
that's
went from
it.
that,
That's it.
yeah, really good. She went from that weak woman being abused
Mhm.
by her husband, you know what I mean, to being the badass that she was at the end. Like when she went in that warehouse and she had to save Rick and all of them, that was Carol. That was legit. That was legit. So, but yeah, I really did enjoy our conversation. We will be back next week with episode 2. So if you want to join me as well, you are more than welcome. I know you don't do YouTube yet. Are you thinking about it?
Not really necessarily. I mean, I watch YouTube, but I would be more than happy to join you again. As
Hmm.
far as talking about the show,
Oh, absolutely. We got 6 episodes to go. You know what I mean? So if you want to pop on when we ever do them, sure, you're always welcome, man.
but definitely appreciate the invitation and the conversation because a lot of the people that I know don't watch the show, so it's like I
Me
don't
too.
I don't I don't have anybody to talk to about it with, so I'm like, let's talk about it.
And the ones that do hate on it, you know what I mean? And I'm tired of defending it all the time. I agree with you when you said that the Negan it dragged on a little bit too long, but I think because I liked Negan's character so much that I
Hmm.
didn't mind it, you know what I mean? I just didn't like that there would be weeks, like 3 weeks or so, where we wouldn't see no Negan, you know what I mean? And it would have another story where we're following Jesus or we're following someone else. And I think
Hmm.
that's why the Negan storyline kind of felt like it drug out. And I can understand that. But I really like to me, it's Rick, Morgan, Negan, Carol. I like Daryl, but Daryl's not really one of my favorites. I like him, but he's not one of my favorites. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But the ones that I name are pretty much my favorites in the show. So
Well,
with
we
that,
can do this
yeah, go
again
ahead.
next week if you want.
Absolutely, 100%. And with that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check it out on the replay just to let you know that it will be taking off of my channel, but you can go watch it on Chaos Central. That's where it's going to be. As you guys know, I'm trying to keep my channel to just the OOC and the Smoking Podcast stuff. So anything else that I do will be on my channel live, and then it'll go straight to Chaos Central. So make sure you guys check out the replay over there. I like to thank everybody for popping in. and we'll be back next week with another episode. Jared, thank you for coming in and doing this with me, man. Appreciate it.
Of course. I hope we can do it again.
We will. Peace, guys, and see you on the next one.
Brainstorming, rain stay pouring all over the court. Check trade scoring, irrational activists. Others remain dormant, factual passages. Able to wage war when time call for it. Burn fire upon corporate setting his back. Sun is fall forward. See the big picture. Don't get stuck on small portraits. Tap resources, your three inner forces. Mind, body, and soul working like piano chords. Linking the piece together from the root like Neanderthals. Reserving animalistic behavior when I convert into the cross satanic spiritual savior. Words that are used are the truth if I never gave ya anything else in your life. Remember words that I breathed on this mic. I print people a copy to read what I write. Tell it fast like my speed on a bike. Like a native chief, I speak and bring peace with a pipe. Subtle as a thief in the night with peace in the light. Check the I'm blacking out like Slobodan Milosevic. Hold that, take some with you. Eternal pain when New Jerusalem hit you. Fall back, don't press the issue with script, lock, script check, Bethlehem officials.